All right, are we ready? Yes. Maya? Okay. I'm here. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Look at you. You made it to another episode of We Did That Shit podcast, where we talk about who did some shit, how we got through some shit, and what we learned from shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm the B. Podcast family, we appreciate you. And we hope your week was the shit. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you like our company, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Anchor, YouTube, and Spotify. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Hey, Maya.
Hey.
What's going on?
Nothing much. You know, another week, and here we are.
And here we are. We got a guest this week.
Woo,
I am so hyped. Podcast family, joining us this week is Mr. Moses L. Overton, celebrity hairstylist, educator, and business owner. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook if you live it under a rock, because he got like 50 gazillion followers, at Moses L. Overton. Hey, Moses.
Hi, how are y'all doing today?
How you doing?
How you doing, Moses?
Thanks for asking.
So how was your week, Moses?
I actually got to go home and see my mom this weekend. I haven't seen her in a while, so it just felt good to be around my family and my friends for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's nice. It's always good to see mom.
Yeah, it is. Regardless of, moms are moms, you know what I mean? And my mom's a Pisces, so if you have a Pisces mom.
I don't have a Pisces mom, but I know Pisces.
Oh, yeah.
I had a Pisces mom, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
So you know exactly what I mean. Exactly. They are truly an experience.
Yes, they are. Bless her heart. Okay. So what's up with you, Maya? How was your week?
My week was good. You know how it is. You know, I never remember what the hell I'm doing day to day. But this week, I had a good week. It was slow, which I needed it to be. I'm sore as hell from exercising. I'm still fat, even though I'm sore as hell from exercising. And all I want to know is why I'm still fat, even though I'm sore from exercising. And I've been eating air for like 2 weeks now. And my life is still going on the same cycle as it was before I was eating air and sore from exercising. And so all week since my week was slow, that's what I've been doing, contemplating why the hell I'm eating air in the summer nonetheless and exercising so hard.
Well, you know how I feel about the exercise. I'm allergic. I can't I can't help you, boo. Because if I do an exercise, I feel like when I finish, I should have lost 5 pounds. I need instant gratification. So, but you want to stick it out, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been doing it this long. Not 2 weeks, people. You know, if you listen to the show, I've been exercising well longer than 2 weeks. And again, I feel stronger, but come on, pounds, work with me.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I think I want to support you in that. I think I'm going to make a concentrated effort to, let me know if you work out. And if you work out, I will go to the gym.
Well, I work out every day at 5 o'clock. So what the hell you mean?
Okay, well, just call me and let me know that you really go. Call me, let me know that you really going, and then I'll go too.
Moses, you a witness to this. You hear this, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Now I'm glad we got somebody else on the show that is a witness to this. But you know how my week was. How was your week?
Well, I got a call from an old friend.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just looking at the phone like, is this a butt dial? Like, it can't be a butt dial, because butt dials is only for somebody like you call recently, right?
Allegedly.
Usually, allegedly, right. And I was just staring at the phone like, should I answer this?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm nice. So I answered. And it's always nice to hear people who wasn't doing so well doing better.
Mm-hmm.
So they was doing better. They was doing really well, and I was happy.
Good.
That was nice. Caught me by surprise. I was like, oh, okay.
It's summer.
All
People
right.
come out the woodwork.
Maybe that's what it is. And so I was talking to my BFF about it, and she was like, you are friends with everybody still. And I was like, yeah. I was like, because her cutoff game is serious, okay? Samurai, sword, slice is over, it's done. She don't talk to nobody no more, like ever. But I'm just not like that. So, and that was pretty much the highlight of my week. And it wasn't even like a highlight. It was just like, oh, look at him. Okay. You know what I mean? Because, other than that, same shit, different me. Oh, and I'm telling you, I'm so proud of myself. Had a meeting at work. Woo! I prayed all morning. I prayed in the car. I prayed when I got out the car. I prayed when I turned on my computer. I prayed. I'm telling you, I was praying and praying and praying. And God came through. I just sat there and shook my head. I was so proud of myself.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because the last couple of weeks you've been sounding terrible as far as work is concerned.
Yes.
And so I'm happy to hear that. That's a plus.
I'm telling you, prayer still works.
Woo. It really does.
It does. Yes. So, all right. So who did some shit this week?
Moses, are you ready for who did some shit this week? Because we got a couple of things that we're going to talk about, and we would love to hear your opinion on them.
Okay.
Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk about was, a couple of weeks ago, we did an episode on online dating.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We talked all about our experiences when it came to online dating. Well, today I'm perusing the internet as I often do, and I see an article that's telling me that a man by the name of John Martin Hill, 34, from Georgia, was arrested for swindling a woman that he met on Match.com out of $80,000.
And how long?
How would you swindle $80,000?
Well, he met the woman. In March. He chatted with her for about a week on the app. And then they exchanged numbers. In that week, they decided that they were going to get married. He told her that he just felt a connection with her and that he loved her. Then they met. And in the process of them meeting, within the next week, she gave him access to her bank account information. Wow. And she, he kept telling her that he needed this and he needed that. And so she was giving him the money the whole time. And this was all within a week and a half to 2 week time.
Wow.
The police issued a statement and they said that when meeting someone online, be very cautious sharing personal information, financial information, or cash with anyone that you meet in such a short amount of time. Now, when I read this and I thought about our experiences on online dating,
a mess.
I was thinking,
yeah, I don't like it.
We don't like it either. We don't like it either.
It's difficult.
I haven't had bad experiences on online dating. Half the time I just don't even take the people serious. But the people that I have met off online dating, we've had a great time. It just was no love connection. And then, I had I don't want to say a love connection because it ain't a love connection, but I had a connection with a couple of people that I met offline. So I haven't had bad experiences, but it's not something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah. I feel like if you see somebody out and they're interested, say hello. If there is no such thing as I don't have time to date. I don't have time to look for somebody. I don't have time. If you go to the grocery store, if you go to church, if you go out or whatever, people, you be right in somebody's face and they don't speak.
Right.
And I think online dating is stupid.
I never had experience. I never met anybody off of it. I usually download it and I start it, and with like 2 or 3 days, I usually delete it.
That's me.
it's a type of lingo that you have to keep people active and in conversation with you
Mm-hmm.
on online dating, and especially well with gay men. I just normally assume they already all mess with each other on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be there. Plus, if I want to meet someone, I just don't think that I would want to tell people that I met them offline in the long term. I just wouldn't
Right.
want to meet my person like that.
Yeah.
And you never know who you're really meeting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Because people put the representative of who they are, online, and then when you meet them, it's like, hey, I thought you were something else, and
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
And then you have people like John Martin Hill, who must have had game of all game because he
Yeah.
was able to get $80,000 out of this
Yeah.
woman. First of all, lady, where do you have $80,000
Right.
sitting? And call
Yeah.
me so I can
How
get it.
old is she?
Right.
Well, he was
Yeah.
34. It doesn't say what age she was. He did tell her though, just for some context, he told her that he was a millionaire.
Mm.
And like I said, he told her that he loved her. He told her that he needed the $80,000 to put cash down on a home. Now,
Mm.
if somebody told you, "Hey Moses, how you doing? I'm meeting you online," and then I tell you all this good something in your ear, online, and then I'm like, "I'm a millionaire, but I need $80,000."
Right.
Why? I mean,
Why
what would
would I?
you
Yeah.
exactly?
I don't know. I would just block you immediately right then.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, but she had to have contact with him. Like they met before he asked for the 80,000, right?
Well, according to the way the article reads, it doesn't say that, but I assume that they did meet. I don't assume that they did meet, but he had to have asked her for the 80K in the time that they were chatting as well, because you're talking about, meet online, swipe right online, and meet and talk about we're getting married all within like a 2 weeks time span and
Yeah,
get
and
80,000.
$80,000.
Listen. If a coworker, certain coworkers or whatever, and I'm not saying like anybody at my job right now, but I don't care who you are. If I'm with a group of people, I don't care what's going on. Like, and somebody be like, I don't have lunch money, I'll be like,
Mm.
don't be looking over here. Right. Don't be looking over here. So
Yeah.
I just can't even fathom giving 80,000. First of all, if somebody tell me they're a millionaire and then they ask me for $80,000, I just be like, what, you 100 there? Did you? Must be
Right.
some kind of miscalculation.
But okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
To me is I see a lot of women that do a lot of stuff for men
Mm-hmm.
very prematurely,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very common. So this really doesn't. And some of my friends, some of the stories I hear, this really doesn't shock me because it's just like a need for something that this whole man when they first meet fulfills, to where they think it is going to fulfill. They just do things prematurely, and it always ends bad.
It
Mm.
You
does.
have some women that are just not, that will just, if men had Section 8, most of the women would be single. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, it's crazy how fast some women do things for men, and I don't understand. It's just so fast. And what kind of game were you talking to get 80? And how did she pay you the $80,000?
Yeah, it's a lot of things that need to be answered in this, especially that I need to know. I need to know how she got the 80 so I can get it. I need to know what he was saying so I can say it to somebody. And to get this, y'all ready for this? This is not the first time that he's done this. He changed his name more than 5 times in the past 3 years. He's been accused of committing similar acts in Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, and New Jersey.
Wow.
Be careful, Maya. You next.
First
Oh
of
my
all,
gosh.
the last thing I gotta worry about is running into a John Hill Martin. Can't no man get nothing from me.
Asking you for $80,000.
They can't ask me for 80 cents. So, and especially not in no damn week and a half. And if you don't have 80 cents, I'm gonna be like, well, what the hell are you doing with your money that you ain't got 80 cents? And where do you work that you ain't got 80 cents? So 80K, that's the hell out. But that was just crazy. I thought that was like the funniest thing, and it just was so fitting because we had just talked about online dating.
Wow.
So, what else is going on? Who else did some shit?
I have a sad story. But I really want to talk about it because, here we did that shit. We're very pride friendly. So there was a woman, she was transgender, but she was a woman, and she was found dead a month after being assaulted by four men. And I read the article because I remember the assault. I remember the video being on social media. There was like some kind of fender bender. It really wasn't even a bad accident. And when I tell you, these guys like got out this car and like beat the shit out of this woman. It was like, or like savages. You know what I mean? Like for
Wow.
no reason at all. So the one guy, they arrested the one guy, and he's like being held on $75,000 bail or whatever. And I mean, it was just ridiculous how they were beating her. And then a month later, she was found shot,
Wow.
lying face down in the street in Dallas.
Wow.
And I just want to say that first of all, I don't understand. Nobody's life is more valuable than anybody else's.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I really just don't understand the whole. I know the hate exists. I just don't understand why. If that's not your thing, then that's not your thing. But ain't nobody doing nothing to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous. And then I heard like there's other murders in Dallas.
Well, they're actually pursuing what they think may be a serial killer in Dallas for the transgender community. So Dallas police are investigating whether the killings of two other transgender women and an assault of a third one over the past 7 months are connected. They all kind of died similarly. They're all kind of like the same ages, 22 to 29. And so they're concerned that this is a pattern because of the way that they are, getting murdered. And we are hearing constantly about transgender people being attacked and or murdered because of a lifestyle that they choose to not even a lifestyle, but because of the life that they choose to live, being who they are. And the thing is, like you said, Baby, it doesn't affect you, for you to want to cause harm to someone, because what it boils down to is that you don't understand the life that they choose to live.
And you don't have
nor does it matter. Right, you took the words out of my mouth. Nor does it matter that you don't understand it. If you're a redneck, I don't understand why you're a redneck. If you drive a pickup truck, I don't understand why you brought it. If you go to church and I don't understand why you go to church, but that's on you. It's your life. Right. And you can do it. And so it's a sad state of affairs that's going on, because more and more, like I said, this is happening. And then for the people in Dallas, the thought that a serial killer could be on the loose. And what's more sad to me is that it's a community that people don't rally behind, and that a lot of people don't care about. And so things like this fall to the wayside. You know what I'm saying? You do have stuff like this happening all across America, but like 3 people in Dallas within 7 months, and it won't get the attention that it really needs to get. You know what I'm saying? Right. Go ahead, Moses. You wanted to say something?
In Philadelphia alone, that's probably where I spent most of my time being out in the community and, just living a life. There have been so many transgenders that were killed. One of the most famous ones they ever talk about, her name was Naja Woods. Oh, yeah. And they were actually strangled and beat. But the places that they were picked up from, Philadelphia and a lot of areas, when they are this age, most of them, a lot of them, not all of them, to choose a line of work, it may be a mild prostitution. Even if it's on the inside, they have strolls in certain areas. So most of these girls are targeted from guys that express an interest in them sexually. And then it happens when they least expect it, or most of the ones when there are a whole bunch of guys, it's before the actual physical assault, it's usually sexually assault.
Yes.
So it's just weird to me that it's such a fetish that the whole scope of the fetish, the rush is the killing and the abuse as well. It's just ridiculous to me, and because I know more now then people would know, on social media and everywhere, there are so many men coming onto these transgenders
Yes.
all day sexually. They get men that are undercover more than anything. There are so many men that come onto them. It's just ridiculous. And a lot of them just, we're still all men, at the end of the day. So you just choose to do what you do. And then, it's a really sticky situation and really scared. You're a prey, and then you're actually, it's just really ridiculous to me. 9 times out of 10, they don't even find whoever kills these people. So it's kind of good that they actually had that one person in the police custody, because these murders in Philadelphia they just killed a transgender the day before yesterday or last night. They hardly find out who finds these.
They don't. I don't think they even try.
I don't think they look. I don't think that they try at all. And I think that people, what's sad is that, like you said, they're prey and they're targeted all day because you want to fulfill something. Like you want to be with a man, but you want to be with a woman, right? And so then you're mad at yourself because you can't be truly who you want to be, right? And so now somebody else has to suffer at the hands of you because you can't be true to who you are, or if somebody finds out that you're doing X, Y, and Z, now you have to in turn kill the person. Like as I was reading this article, I was reading an article about a pastor in also in Texas. No, I think he was in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. But he was just I guess he was being sentenced because he killed a transgender woman because the people in the congregation found out about it. But you pursued her. She was living her life. You pursued her. It's crazy that we're even talking about this. I just watched this documentary on Hulu called, what was it called? Pieces, or I'll get the exact name, but it was about a gang. Well, they called them a gang, right? Of transgender women in Washington, D.C., but a lot of them were prostitutes, and they were just expressing what they have to go through. And the reason why they kind of like formed this gang was because they were getting attacked, and they were tired of getting attacked, so they banded together, and they started and attacking the people that was attacking them, really like hurting them. And so, exactly. And it's a shame that they would even have to that people have to live their life, like even going through this, you know what I'm saying? Or face ridicule and then face the possibility that you could be murdered, all because of a person, like you said, wanting to fetishize them or can't be true to who they really truly are.
Right. And the whole, when they get these undercover guys, you got to take into account the reason that it makes that they fight with their consciences, because you can actually enjoy 9 times out of 10 from my friends that I know. It's usually the transgender that's penetrating the male. So he can actually turn around and feel breast and feel hair and have the illusion of a woman without feeling bad about getting penetrated. So that has a lot to do with it too, mentally, if you're challenged with that. And even if you're going, and you do have a lot of young guys that do purchase, these women off of the stroll or the ads as well. So it's just, you never know who you're going to get in contact with or what mental state they are in their lifestyle, dealing with your lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just very dangerous.
Very dangerous. And Moses, I appreciate the truth that you just spoke, because people, people talk about things and they think they know, but they really don't know. And even if you're in a heterosexual relationship, you're exactly right, because more and more women now are saying that their partners like to be penetrated.
Yes.
So they do. It comes up all the time, and so they do
feel
talk
like
about
they
it.
rather do it before a transsexual does it to them.
Well, that's what makes the woman more comfortable.
Right.
But the man, most times it doesn't matter who it is.
So as a woman, how does that make you feel if your man was to say, like, he brought this dildo and a strap in home, and he said, "Babe, I want you to use this on me"? How would that make you feel?
Well,
would you want to see your man in a submissive state?
No,
that's not my cup of tea.
No. No, and it's because here's the thing. Live your life the way that you want to live your life. Like the B said, we are very pride friendly over here. However, it's not for us, right? So we didn't choose or did I don't think it's a choice. Let me say that. Let me rephrase that. I don't think that it's a choice.
Would that make you think that your mate messes with men or
I don't know if he messes with men, but I would think that he would mess with men. And I would think that he had the thought process of doing it. Now, and if I thought that he ever did it, I don't know. But automatically, I would think that that was something that he was thinking about. And so eventually, for anything, I feel like if it's something that you're constantly thinking about, or even if you're thinking about it, I don't sit and think about being with a woman, but if I did, eventually I probably would act on that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think about a lot of shit all the time, and then I go and I do it. But again, I don't sit and think about smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? And if I did, eventually the thought is going to overpower and I'm going to probably smoke crack. So that's what I was thinking about my man. And here's the thing, boo, no judgment on you, but I'm not the woman for you. You understand what I'm saying? That's not for me.
And if you can't express certain things like that with your mate and you don't feel free to them, that's when you'll seek other avenues to get that type of fetish and erotic, whatever you need from it.
Exactly.
And 9 times out of 10, a lot of people don't know that this has been going on for a long time.
For a very long time. Yes, forever. It's in the Bible.
Forever.
Yes, it's
been going on.
And in your marriage,
it's in the Bible.
too. And in your marriage.
Right, exactly. Marriages are not exempt. No relationship is exempt. But I just, I really wanted to bring that up and put that out there. And just, women, protect yourself. Protect yourself at all costs, because, we out here praying for you, but it's just wicked people out here. Mm-hmm. So,
even in our own, well, we already know that in our government we have wicked people, but until they put it out there, you're like, damn, these people are wicked. But until you see it. So this week, while we're on the topic of transgender people, they proposed a HUD rule that would strip transgender protection at homeless shelters. Yes. So the Department of Housing and Urban Development on Wednesday proposed a new rule that would weaken the Obama era protections for homeless transgender people, allowing federally funded shelters to deny people admission on their, not only on their on them being transgender, but also on religious grounds. And if they did allow them to come in for transgender women, they would have to share bathrooms and sleeping quarters with men.
Is a homeless shelter, was it derived from a faith-based organization or something?
No,
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
It sounds like what they're doing to me. First of all, this is supposed to be the land of the free, right? Mm-hmm. And if but if a person is not doing anything to you, and that person lives is a woman, and so what you're saying is my freedom of religion is trumping my freedom to express my gender. You know what I mean? Because it's more my freedom of religion. Say I'm a Christian and I cannot tolerate to be in the presence of or whatever, and so that makes me be able to shun you. No, your freedom of religion can't trump any other freedom, unless you and especially if you're getting federal funds. And you know what I mean? No, that's not right.
And that's one of the reasons for the sexual workers, it's society in a whole. Most of the transgenders, when they're coming into the transition and being more secure with yourself, they don't feel as free because of the community to get regular jobs and feel that accepted. So they feel like it's better to make, just for reasons like that,
Yep.
What do you do? You're pushing people into a box when they're trying to feel more secure about their ever-changing life. You know what I mean? And society is just not going to let them, and has never let them, feel comfortable to work anywhere. I mean, if you work at a restaurant and the customers act different, it's just, who would want to be operating in all these uncomfortable environments where you are definitely stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So it pushes people into these sexual workers. It turns them into these, just to know that they can go through their transition and feel as much secure as they can, because it is
Mm-hmm.
definitely a journey. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's getting used to the female hormones and transitioning with your body and just your family and friends and just your
Mm-hmm.
whole lifestyle change is something that I could never fathom. And just being able to step out and be comfortable like that,
Mm-hmm.
and regardless of whatever's going on, and to be confident in yourself, that's a lot.
It
So
is.
it pushes people into the sexual works and the acts. They don't feel comfortable in societies. Like most of the places, the LGBT places, organizations, like in Philadelphia and most cities, they
Mm-hmm.
do employ most transgenders, so they will feel very comfortable. Most of the AIDS places, like the Mazzoni Center and the William Waite Center, they all employ transsexuals where they can feel comfortable and just be a asset to your community as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes,
Wow.
you are absolutely correct. And as Babi said, just make sure that you are out here protecting yourself.
Safe.
We have to protect ourselves from this government. You got to protect yourself from, the wicked people that include the government. You can't be
Mm-hmm.
homeless. You can't get a job, as you said. You can't be free to be who you are. But we are hoping that things turn around, and the world is ever changing, and we're hoping that people will be accepting enough to, even if you don't understand the change, let people be
Be
who
them.
they are,
Yes.
point blank period. Just let people be who they are.
And I'm hoping
And
people will be brought to justice
yeah.
on because it doesn't matter who it is. If you will hurt one person for a dumb reason, you'll hurt anybody,
Mhm.
for a dumb reason, just because you don't like something. So, and I'm hoping for justice for some, well, for all, but we know that, perpetrators are not pursued as in other cases. So it's just a
Right.
really, really sad case.
Yeah.
So, but can
Yeah.
we lighten it up? 'Cause
Well,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and lighten it up because it is getting a little heavy. And let's just get into our topic for this week. The reason why we have Moses on the show in the first place. As Babi said, Moses is a celebrity hairstylist.
And
Let's get into the topic. What we want to talk about this week, Bib.
I met Moses through a friend. And I'm gonna tell you, Moses, when I went on your Instagram, I was like, oh my God. Like, I need this in my life. Like, what is going on? I have never, ever, ever, I've never had, I wear protective styles, but I do my own
Okay.
hair, but I've never had a weave in my life. And I
Really?
was just looking at those clips like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Amazing. And so Moses L. Overton, of course, of the upper echelon Overtons, is a celebrity stylist. And if you check out his Instagram page, those clips are just like, wow. And he is an educator in the whole styling and hair business. He's an entrepreneur doing big and great things. And I'm so happy that you said you would come on the show because
I'm
today,
so happy that you asked me.
oh my gosh, today we're talking about summer hair. The summer is upon us, ladies, and if you vacation, if you go to the beach, you gotta go to work, your hair dries out, all kinds of stuff. Like, what do we do with our hair in the summer? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I wear my hair in protective styles because I just don't like doing my hair every day. But last summer when I took it out, I just kept it out and wore it all summer out. And I mean, I guess I was learning some things, but I don't know. Just getting up and doing something every day was starting to irk me.
Right.
When I could just get up, shake it out, and go. So we have some questions, Moses. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Moses. It's summertime. It's hot. Now, some people live where it's hot all the time.
Hmm.
Fuck them. Oh, excuse me. That was nice. we, we get all the seasons, and summer is a big deal, especially for hair. So, in your opinion, now I know for a fact 110% that you really are the weave master. But what is the best weave for summertime?
Well, generally, what actually works best to fight humidity, keep your budget down, and if you keep it, that'll last you, is some type of braids. I actually like some of the crochet styles right now, or if you like wearing your hair in a natural state. Regardless of however you wear your hair in the summertime, you are going to be challenged with humidity. And you want to have something where it's easy for you to take care of on vacation and not put that much thought into. So most of the protective styles for the summer are usually braids or rocking it natural. Unless you have like a keratin treatment or something like that that will fight against humidity. But when most hairstylists, that is our typical slower season, because braid season starts from June all the way to August.
Oh.
It's just a lot easier for women to keep their daughters' hair braided up over the summer while they're not in school. And I mean, braids they're not bad. You have so many different styles coming out now. You even have people buying full lace wigs and taking them to the Africans and getting them braided and putting the wigs on their hair. So if you're going to use a unit or if you're going to get your regular hair braided, they are the most leading, best protective styles that I would say for the summer. You're not going to want to have to, if you can't do your hair, unless you like to wear it natural. If you can take it in a natural state and wash it and go in curly and you're good with that, that's a really good one as well. Because your hair does need vitamin D and everything from the sun. So without it being constricted by braids or some weave, unless you're a weaver, but if you're not using a weave, I would say probably like, the crochets, if they're done correctly.
Yeah.
Because all these styles, you can have a significant amount of breakage as well if you have someone that is not as experienced in putting them in. And you have to keep now the back of your hair is stronger than up where your forehead and your temple and your edges are. So if you're going to get any of these protective styles, please leave at least a quarter to a half an inch of your edges out and just use like some type of smoothing method so that you'll have edges when it comes back to winter.
Who knew?
Who knew? Because Moses, I've been getting my hair braided forever. I've been getting my hair braided forever, and my cousin does it, and she's a professional. She just happens to be my cousin. But when I tell you she braids everything, and I'm a kind of person who I like new hair, right? I don't like old hair. I don't like, some people like the way their hair looks when it gets a little older. I like my hair to look like it's freshly done. So, I'm very envious of Oprah because she has a stylist that's with her all the time and her hair always looks so lush, but that's because she has a stylist that's with her all the time. And so I
the
say
same
that
person for years too.
Right. So I say that to say, I'm a kind of person who I don't think about the leave out. I think about, braid it all up, honey, because I don't want it to look old. I never thought about leaving it out and smoothing it with like edge control.
Yeah, just
I
a
just
very
thought
small amount because the moving of the braids, pulling it to the side, moving it to the back, those edges, they're twisting and twisting all the time. So that's why they say you use to take it out. You keep twisting and twisting and twisting and it snaps. And you don't know that you're twisting them. You know what I mean? And it's so soft. The hair is so fragile right there. So it's better because, you do have people that will braid every single piece, but you also have people that will leave them same braids in for 4 or 5 months. So when you switch them out, they're snapped off and your edge line looks worse than if you would not have gotten it braided.
Yes, because I'm struggling with the one side of my hair right now with my edges, and it's because of the braids and what I have done. Now, full disclosure, my hair is textured like I don't know, I would say fine, or like I hate that term. I never say, oh, I got good hair and you got bad hair, because what the hell is good hair and what's bad hair? All hair is hair.
Right.
But my hair is, finer than someone else's. Let me say that. And so I'm, from getting the braids, I never really thought about that. Like you said, putting it up, keeping it down, twisting it and everything. And that's the reason why my edge on the side is a little bit thin. So that makes a lot of sense that if I ever wanted to get braids again, to do the leave out. So thanks for that.
And you'll have cute baby hair if you got good hair.
He got baby hair now.
You can give some cute baby hair.
She got baby hair. She got baby hair for life. You hear me? She got baby hair.
And it's good too. Our generation, well, our age people, now with so many so-called protective styles as far as things using adhesive, there is a growing rate of number of African American women from the age 18 to 25 that have at least an inch or 2 inches of smooth edges around from ear to ear
Yeah.
from so many protective styles. And if it's smooth 9 times out of 10, it's not going to grow back. So
Mm.
with you putting an adhesive on, it takes a few months for it to excrete out of your glands. So if you're constantly putting adhesive on and adhesive on and adhesive on, you're going to kill the root.
So when you say adhesive, now I don't, I thought I knew something. So I thought protective style. When I think protective style, the first thing I think of is crochet braids. There's other things that's protective style.
Well, there are now, many people will say that frontals or closures will be classified as a protective style simply because all the hair is grown, braided up. And, just the way you do, and you put the stocking cap on before you put the frontal or the tape on, and then you lay the frontal on it. That is actually classified by most as a protective style. But regardless if you're putting tape or adhesive on a stocking cap that's covering your edges, adhesive seeps through with sweat, heat, and everything. It goes into your pores. So it's still getting in your hair, regardless of how protected the edges are.
Yeah.
So you're doing that for 6 months to a year, constantly for 2 years. You should know that when you take that off, you're going to have a significant amount of damage that you're not going to be able to recover from.
Oh wow. Okay, so I know this is one of your questions,
Go ahead.
Bibi, but let's just get right into edges.
Right.
Let's get right into edges, honey, because now my ears
You
are
in
perking
it
up.
now.
So I've never used a person like me I've never had a weave, right?
Okay.
Well, I did because I got crochet braids and
That's
crochet curls. Bibi actually did my hair in crochet curls, and I was telling everybody like, "Girl, guess what? I got my first weave," and I was just going around. I was so excited, right? I was like strangers. I was like, "You know, this a weave. This is a weave," but I guess crochet is not the same as a weave, so I've never had a weave. So my thin edge is based off of the braids, right?
Right.
And so I've
And
transitioned.
family hereditary bald patterns as well.
Oh yes.
That's what
And
my
when you get
hairdresser
older as
always says.
an African American, well, all women, as you get older, your hair structure changes. When you get 40 and then you get to the menopause and everything's changing. Women that have hysterectomies and a lot of women that have anesthesia, all that stuff to me affects the hair.
Oh my gosh. We are doomed.
So what are some of the things, if anything, we can do to help our edges before we get into the pattern of losing them? What can we do to help protect our edges? And then we can talk about what we can do once we are seeing like a thinning of the edges. Then what can we do? So let's talk
Okay.
about what we can do before we even get to the thinning part.
Okay, so first of all, what everybody always tells you over and over again, you have to moisturize your hair. And by that, you have to know what different types of oils are. So you have a lot of people, you have moisturizing oils and you have filling oils. A lot of people, it was a fad a few months ago, years, where everybody likes to use Jamaican black castor oil on their edges.
I use
I
that.
was using that
I
too.
use that.
And it's a sealing oil. And what that does is it doesn't penetrate your hair shaft. It simply sits on your scalp and adds shine and luster. And it has no benefits for your scalp. So you want to use a moisturizing oil, something all natural like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. They penetrate the hair shaft and they're most useful to the scalp.
And can we use just regular? I'm sorry to cut you off, but now I got a problem with my edge, so can we use
Moses,
regular?
she's writing stuff down. This
No,
is
I
so
am.
serious.
I'm writing stuff down, Moses. Can we use regular coconut oil, avocado oil, and olive oil? Not anything that I'm saying like something we buy at the market.
I would say most refined product that you can. A lot of health food stores have that. They're in little bottles, and you can even make a mixture and go ahead and mix these three together. After you see the benefits, they are all great benefits for your hair, though. Even if you bought one of all three and you switched them up on your monthly regimen or your weekly regimen of moisturizing your hair, I try to stay as natural as possible. When you go into the hair stores and you see any of that stuff that's sitting there behind the, right there at the counter, that's these oils, carrot oil, all that, it is probably hardly any of any benefits with that and those things. I don't like store-bought fad products. You know, they sell you a dream.
Like kiwi oil. Remember kiwi oil?
Oh my gosh, that was so heavy. And I have a client to this day. She likes Milky Way Piano Color 3 and 27, 2 packs in, and she likes Kimi oil to slick her hair back when she's done. And this is an actor's wife. That's all she ever wants me to do is bring her 2 packs of Milky Way piano hair.
Oh, listen, with Kimi oil. Do not forget the damn Kimi oil. Let me tell y'all a little quick story, and this is going to be quick. When I first moved to Virginia, now you know, Moses, we from Camden.
Okay.
I moved to Virginia. I get my hair done in Philly. Okay. And I've had the same hairdresser for years and years and years. And so I came to Virginia. I was like going home every weekend, getting my hair done. It was just becoming a pain. And I was like, I'm going to find me somebody in Virginia to do my hair. So I was watching TV one day, right? I saw this commercial and I was like, they all right. They kind of look like they know what they're doing a little bit. But I mean, how hard can it be to give me like a press and curl? Because that's all I get. I get a round brush and because a white man does my hair, full disclosure. Okay. And so
in Philadelphia?
Like, yes, in Philadelphia.
So I know exactly where you go.
Where?
You go downtown on Rittenhouse Square?
No.
Because you know there's a shop with like 4 white guys right there that do all black women hair.
Oh yeah, well my hairdresser does all black women's hair too. He's in Old City though. Shout out to you, Frank. But so I said I'm gonna find me somebody. All right, seen this commercial. Let me go around here. Go in this salon. Soon as I walked in, I should have walked out because when I sat in the chair, the first thing the dude said was, "Oh, you got good hair," and you know I hate that, right? So he was like, what you? Oh, your hair is beautiful, this, that, and the third. So they commenced to doing my hair, right? I told the guy, don't put no oil in my hair because it weighs my hair down because of the texture of my hair, right? He was like, oh, all right. Did this joker put Kimi oil in my hair?
Wow.
And when he turned me around, it was a shining ass bucket. I said, you know what? I just looked at him. I felt like I was about to bust out crying. And I said, he said, you like it? Oh, girl, your hair is so beautiful. Oh, and he going on. I said, how much is it? Because at this point, I felt like I was going to pick up them curlers and just like go off on him. So I just said, how much is it? Let me pay. Came home. I cried. I called Frank.
He gave you a press out and some Kimi oil?
Yeah. In 2018.
Wow. No, it was 2018. It was like 2009. But again, if you seen the texture of my hair, you know, even if I had a different texture of hair and my hair was heavier than it is, anything, a press out and some Kimi oil is a no for anybody's hair.
Yeah. Who still uses that?
I don't know. And so I just had to tell that quick story. So let's get back to the edges.
So with edges, you know, there's a question that I put up on my social media. There's actually 3 ways that you could put your edges down. So I want to ask both of y'all, would you use a toothbrush, your hands, or a regular brush to smooth your edges back?
I use a soft toothbrush myself, but it's soft.
Soft toothbrush.
Soft.
I use, I guess, a toothbrush sometimes. I guess most of the times I use a brush.
Well, there is actually a study that when I actually do people's hair, I never use edge control. There was an actual article that I was reading.
Moses, I feel like I don't know you at all.
I don't use edge control at all. I don't believe in it. It gets very wavy and wet as soon as you get out in the sun. It starts to melt. And also, that is from me reading the article, which I'm starting a blog really soon. That contributes to edge loss as well. Edge control. You can't forget you have something that is it's a hard substance. It's laying your hair down every day, not breathing. You don't know what kind of chemicals you're getting on there in your hair, in your scalp. And the article was saying that that was a reason to lead to a lot of people having thin edges as well. You know, if you remember back in the day when you had a press and curl before there was any hair, everybody had their edges. There was no edge control before
None.
you even had that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So when people got weaves, that's when they started coming out with edge control because they wanted to slick the baby hairs back. So back when you got your regular blowout or your wash and curl or the stove irons, everybody had all their edges. Nobody used
Yeah.
You're
edge
right.
control.
And I'm gonna tell you something. My aunt Marilyn, she can press some edges. You hear
Mm,
me? When she
with the
used to
comb.
press my hair, what? With the press and put that little comb in the oven in the basement. What? My hair was slick.
Listen, they say
Mm,
you have never been burned until you got burned from a pressing comb.
I know
That's
that's
true.
right. I know
I
that's
never
right.
had a pressing comb in my hair, but that's
Yeah.
true. Now we we know what to do to before we even get to the thin edges. What do we do after now we've used edge control, we've used this adhesive, we've worn the cap. Now our edges are kind of like shot to hell. What are some of the things that we can do once that happens, if anything?
Okay, so one product, okay, you don't want to get any fad driven products that are out here right now. They're supposed to bring your edges back. I don't believe in those. One product that I do know that works very, very well, and I would recommend not to endorse a product, but I would recommend you buying Viviscal. It promotes hair growth, and 9 times out of 10, when I have some people that are experiencing Viviscal and Rogaine for women,
Mm,
it concentrates on the edges and it concentrates on the crown area. That's the only parts of the hair that it will be effective. So if
Okay.
you're going through that, I would get the foam and I would get some Viviscal and just use it for a little bit and keep your dosage and then go, like I tell everybody, for the first week, take it every day and then
Mhm.
do it every other day. You don't want your body and your hair to get so used to it that it doesn't feel the effect of it and it starts to be uh, does not grow as much as it was when you first started using the product.
Okay.
okay.
Um, so that's pretty much what I want to say. You want to be very light on your edges. I normally tell people if you are wearing weaves or braids, you don't have to braid that part up. You just got to be real soft with them and careful. And also know if you're going to a license, make sure you check out someone's track record before you start them. You know, a lot of people these days are taking care of their hair themselves. A lot of
Yeah.
people are natural. It's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
very easy to wash and go and have your natural regimen. And every day, it's a great thing because I'm all for a relaxer. It doesn't matter. It's your personal choice. But more and more women are feeling comfortable with being natural and wearing their hair natural. Normally, they want to be natural and cover it up with a weave, but now
Right.
they're actually wearing their naturals, like their natural hair, and embracing it and finding their texture and being confident with it outside wash and go, and that's it.
Okay.
All right. So in the summertime, Moses, what are some must-have products?
So what are some must-have products of the summertime? I would definitely say okay, so there's a great conditioner. I recommend a lot of co-washes in the summer.
Mhm.
um, because you never know what chemicals in your hair that you're shampooing your hair with that would actually interfere with the growth as far as benefits from the sun and things like that. And if you are going to use a shampoo, you probably want to use a clarifying shampoo. Make sure it gets all the sweat and everything off and use a great deep conditioner.
Mhm.
Must have products. Let me see. What else would I would say? Oh, okay. So one of my favorite products is real old school. I don't know if you guys ever remember this little yellow bottle in the hair store. It has a little black nozzle and it says Natty Head Hair Food. Do you ever
Mm.
remember
Mm,
that?
No, but I'm
Costs
gonna
like
get
one
no,
some.
ninety nine.
me
It costs
too.
like 199. It has a nozzle on it.
199, right in my price range.
Yeah, it has a nozzle on it. It's water based, like 40%, so it'll dissipate in time, and it's a great moisturizer. And it has a nozzle, so you to get all around your head, and it's a great moisturizing. It has some of those essential oils in it, and benefits good for the scalp. It's really cheap, it's inexpensive, and it's called Natty Head. It's been out for years.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna find that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm really about just the old school, the beginning of the products, and I also like straightening combs. If you're gonna, if you're gonna try to wear your hair pressed out sometimes, just go on and get a hard press. You don't have to go
Mm-hmm.
Dominican or use a flat iron. This flat iron epidemic to me, if you're not using
Epidemic.
the right plate, you're going to experience a lot of breakage, from the different plates, and people don't know all that. So you can never go wrong with a straightening comb and a hard press.
Go ahead,
If you
Aunt
want to
Okay.
wear
Marilyn.
it out in the summer.
Go ahead,
Well,
Aunt
that
Marilyn.
makes a
She
lot
the
of
big.
sense, and it's so crazy because when you go into a lot of salons now, they use flat irons. Another little story, quickly, is after I went to Kimi Oil Heaven, I said, "Well, I ain't going there no more. Clearly, I'm gonna go somewhere else." I got another recommendation, and this time it was a place in DC. And when I went there, the girl washed my hair, blow dried it, and then she used a flat iron. Now my hair came out better. She didn't. It wasn't a Kimi oil helmet. However, all I kept thinking was, I'm paying $65 for a damn wash and curl with a flat iron. I could have did this at home
Yeah.
because my hairdresser doesn't use a flat iron. He uses like the old school curlers, like the things you put on the stove and get hot, and or he got the your little oven or whatever. That's what he uses. He doesn't use a flat iron. And I was like, I could do this damn at home. So
Right.
you see more and more of that, and I didn't. It's funny that you say flat irons will break your hair off if you, like you said, if you're not
Well,
sure.
if you're
Of,
not sure of the type of the type of plate that you're putting for the
okay,
specific needs of the hair. So
uh,
there's a few different types of plates,
okay,
titanium, it is ceramic, and you have another, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Why would I forget this right now? But anyway, there are different benefits, and they're all different things, and I posted it all on my websites and everything. You have to make sure which hair straightener works good for you.
okay,
I don't recommend using them like if I was to do a straight, I would rather just do the straightening, the heating in the stove. The thermal heat is just better to me,
mm-hmm,
all the way around. And I deal with that too. This whole, there's a lot of things that are fads that, I had to be able to be comfortable with because when I first started working, I didn't want to do anything that I felt bad about morally with hair.
yeah,
Okay. Right.
So like now, like I don't use for my press outs at the top. I don't use a flattening iron from a straightening iron, but I'll use it on the weave. You know what I mean?
okay,
You just
Mm-hmm.
got to take care of hair different than you take care of weave. You can't it's just not. It wouldn't be natural for you to use the same products that you use on extensions instead of something that you have to take care of for longevity. Extensions you can throw away, but
mm-hmm,
your hair you can't use the same. You can't treat it the same.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
So
Okay, so I want to end with your specialty. So I have just a couple more things before we get to it.
okay.
We talked about edges. What about grays? Because I got 8 of them. First of all, wait. First of all, I'm throwing away my flat irons because I know that they're not anything that you just said, and because I only paid $17.99.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm sure they the wrong plate. But I got 8 grays, and they are like the most ghetto loud grays because they like right in my hairline, and they just be like, "Hello." They don't lay down. They don't lay down. They don't get down. They don't do that. Like, what is going on? What can we do about the grays?
While staying natural. So what I always recommend and I don't do rinses.
Mm,
Rinses do not cover grays.
at
They
all.
were never formed to cover grays. So when you're going to a salon and you're paying to put a rinse on 9 times out of 10, within 3 to 5 days, your
It's out.
grays will be out. So I recommend a demi-permanent. It
Mm-hmm.
has no ammonia in it, but you do use peroxide and it covers your grays for 6 to 8 weeks without you using a permanent hair color. So you don't have any damage. You don't have to do a blot test that you would normally do when you're supposed to, before you do a color service, you're supposed to do a skin test at least 24 hours. 9 times out of 10, you don't have to worry. Or you can use Beijing. It is a vegetable-based dye, and 9 times out of 10, if you're hyperallergenic to colors,
Mm-hmm.
if you're allergic to colors, it'll serve as your hypoallergenic remedy.
Okay.
Yeah. So you mix it with water and it does the same, but you just have to make sure that you do a deep condition and a hot oil treatment because at times it can dry the hair out if you do not condition it with doing it over and over and over again.
That's what I use in my not a Beijing, but the Demine. That's what Frank uses in my hair because unlike my beautiful co-host who only has 8 gray hair, most of my hair would be gray if I didn't color it. And that's a hereditary thing. You know, my great grandmother was white by the time she was 35. My uncles are white, and if I let this hair go, this would be white before I know it. I got
Your
gray in
full
my
head
eyes.
is white, or is it just
No,
your
almost.
it's not. First of all, calm down. It's not almost. Calm down. It's not almost. But I have a lot of gray hair. I mean, it's not white, but I have a lot of gray hair. I color my hair. So, but you know, as I stated before, my hair is natural, meaning like no relaxers, you know. When I used to put a relaxer in my hair, I would put it in twice a year, once in the winter and once in the summer, just because my roots was wavy and I hated that because I wanted my hair to be straight. And so I have been, I guess, transitioning back into not putting any heat on my hair and getting my natural curl back. So I get my hair colored because of the gray. But what I found is now that my hair is natural, I'm washing my hair a lot more. And so, you know, it's just like the grays is, you know, they stubborn. They just peeking on through no matter what. They just,
Well, you know, I personally think that some women wash their hair too much.
okay, so let's talk about that real.
Let's talk about, yeah.
What is a proper amount? Because like I work out 4 times a week, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, I do a wash and go. If I don't wash my hair, I wet it, you know, with a spray bottle or in the shower or whatever, you know, put some conditioner in it, and then I go. What is a good amount to wash your hair, whether you're natural or straight or whatever? Because I mean, it's different, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're natural and you have a steady regimen of moisturizing your scalp and mixing it in with co-washes, it's pretty all right. But you know, there are a lot of people that have weaves or get these amazing, expensive styles, and they want to ask you, "Can I work out with it?" So my whole thing is you just have to realize if you're going to work out right now and pay for a hairdo and have to do the maintenance of it, or because it's, you know, when you work out, you're going to sweat. And I would imagine that you would, you know, my grandma used to say, I smell a smell on my hair that nobody else can smell. So you have no choice but to wash it. But, you know, there are a lot of people that still only get their hair washed about once a week by a professional. I mean, because, you know, but if you can take care of it by yourself and you are 100% natural, I would say wash it at least twice a week. You know, pull your hair up in a bun, something high where the sweat drains down, and make sure you wrap the edges of the scarf so it'll absorb a lot of that sweat. And see if you can do a co-wash. You don't have to use a shampoo all the time.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I
that's
mean?
what I use. I
Yeah, a
use the
co-wash
co-wash.
is very beneficial, and you can do that 3 or 4 times a week. You just have to moisturize your hair. And I always tell people, go on and get that VO5 hot oil treatment that they used to sell at the store for $3 or $4.
I'm using one this weekend.
A lot of people don't do that anymore. You know, it's not hair care in the salons are not like they used to be. It's not that term of level. Like you said, you drove all the way back to Philly to get your hair done. You'd be surprised how many girls I know leave from Philly and come all the way back to Philly to get their hair done, you know, because they have relationships with stylists there and they're comfortable with it. And now trying to change something with this day and age, and so many people just trying to make a buck and not really worried about hair care beyond the salon, you know, and informing you of remedies and coming with a detailed plan to help your hair. You're just like chancing it, you know? So going around to so many people and you just stop. And that's why a lot of people are doing their hair today too. You know, it's so much of a variety. You can go on Instagram and find 50 million hairdressers. You can go on Facebook, find 50 million hairdressers. And people are instantly excited about that finished style that they see on the, not if the person can actually take care of anything else. You know, it's just very instant. People just don't care about it anymore.
Well, I'm a swimmer, Moses. In the summertime, I swim a lot. I swim in pools, I swim in the ocean, cedar lakes, all kinds of stuff like that. So I have to, and when I do work out, I sweat in my head bad. Like even if I pull my hair up, I sweat so bad. Like my hair is still, the rest of my hair that's pulled up is still soaking wet. Like it's wet. I sweat really bad in my hair. So I need to use a co-wash.
I think that would be the best for you. You can do that every day if you wanted to when you got out of the shower. All you do is get nice warm when you're in the shower and just, like I say, before you wet your hair and then put it all in your hair, a lot of conditioner, and let that be the last thing that you rinse off. You know what I mean? That way
Okay.
it'll take all that build out and moisturize your scalp. It takes 5 minutes, like your mom used to do back in the day, to part your scalp and grease your scalp. We just don't practice things that we used to do anymore.
Yep.
My mom used to make me sit down and grease her scalp for at least every week with the big old Blue Magic coconut oil
I got Blue Magic right now.
and or bergamot and things like that. And they were the things that, it's
Mhm.
such a change if you notice now from hair care back then, even with home health hair care.
Right. Well, look at you now, because you owe it all to your mom. Because let's get to this.
Oh, she was the worst client and the best client forever. Now she's like, when she has to get her hair done, she be real nice to me for a whole week because she says it's better for me to just shut up for them little few minutes and let Moses talk about what he want to talk about so I can get my hair done.
I know that's right.
And you gotta imagine this too. You're saving at least $7,000 a year.
Right.
I don't make my mom pay for anything. You know what I mean? So that's a huge budget out of your hair. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad we got to know you because I'm gonna be trying to get my savings together too. But I love you, Frank. But yeah.
You never had a weave before ever?
I've never had a weave before. No, never. I've never had a weave before. Neither did the B. I never.
Never had a weave before?
Never in my life. Not sew, not glue, not. The only thing I do is the crochets. I do them myself. But I have not put a relaxer in my hair since I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, and that was in December of 1991. So my hair is all virgins, fully natural. And I have never, and I think my daughter was like 5 when I first started wearing crochets because I was on vacation and we were at the pool. And I had my niece, my daughter, my son, and I put the girls' hair in some cornrows, some straight back so they can, get in the pool. And so there was a family there. They were there for a wedding from Gary, Indiana. And the grandmom asked me, she was like, well, who did their hair? I said, I did. And she said, well, can you do that for my baby's hair? And I said, yeah. She said, because my daughter doesn't know how to do that, but she's going to do her hair. She was like the little flower girl at the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I did her hair and the straight backs, the grandmother was like, and show her what you do. This is what we supposed to do. And I love that concept because that's how I am. Like, we're a village. We can take care of our own. And she put they were already pre-braided, but she literally crocheted that baby's little hair. Like after I put the straight backs in, and I was like, oh. And so when I came home, of course, I tried it with some blonde coils or whatever. I was looking crazy for a couple of months. But, I'm a kind of person, I'm confident. So even if it don't look right, I'm still going to wear it, until it's time to take it out. So I've been wearing crochets over 20 years.
Wow.
But I've never, ever, ever had a weave. But I'm going to get one because when I was looking at your Instagram page, I was like, what?
And I was going to say, you guys, there are so many, you just can't, I guess you guys may associate a weave with a braid down, which actually intimidates a lot of people. But we are in a day and ages where you do not have to get a braid down to get a weave. There are so many things you could do. If you want it length, you can add clip-ins. You can get micro links for the extensions. You can get the individual micro links. In some instances, if your hair is not oily, you can get tape-in extensions that would actually work. They're very temporary. And some of them aren't, but you won't have to have that base, that braided base, which actually causes a lot of issues, And then, you can't think about it. You got to look at all the tension that you're getting when you're putting a weave on. You get the extension hair braided, then you get a net on top of that, and then you get some hair sewed on top of that. Mm-hmm. So look how much tension that you're having with all that braid down. So you have 3 different layers pulled together with thread.
And that's probably the reason why I never had a weave. But when Babi told me that we were going to have you on the show, I too went to your Instagram. And so I'm talking to Babi earlier, and she was like, yeah, such and such and so and so, because you know what Moses with his weaves. And I was like, oh, well, which one was a weave? And so she's like, oh, that was a weave. And I said, where he was parting and flipping and when he did all of them parts, because I was waiting for you to do the style, right? You did the part, then you rolled the girl's hair, then you took that down. And so I was like, well, I'm watching the video waiting for you to do the style, but you were just showing
The versatility.
yes. And so can you tell us, did you come up with this concept? Is this
Okay, so
special to you?
this has been so actually when I was a manager of the Weave Bar in Germantown and Shelton
Yeah.
in Philly, I was a manager, so of course I was in charge of education, and I would go to these seminars, and I saw a microlink, the individual extensions, and then I started looking it up on YouTube, and the only issue was I tried to see how can this benefit our people. You know, most of the models that I've seen were very fine, soft hair that did not need a prep before you got an installation. You know, so with with this microlink system, I actually, with time, developed how to do it to suit our needs from my experience. So, like, it's a baseless extension, and it's free flowing. It's parted versus
Very.
it's no tension on your hair. I've had no damage, no breakage. A lot of people is actually good because a lot of people are transitioning from regular weaves and the damage of that and wanting to transition to growing their hair out and wearing it more fully. So with your hair not being restricted and you being able to get vitamin D and you being able to get to your scalp, it's a lot of growing benefits, you know, especially from you always wearing a restricted hairstyle where I'm talking about as a base for your extensions. Because your hair is very restricted, you know? So it's actually very healthy. And if it's done right, it should look extremely natural and it should feel natural. I'm not one of those. I'm not a sculptor. I used to want to aspire to be one of those styles that would be the most perfect curl, but I realized that my niche was just making hair look extremely natural.
Yes.
You know, so it usually lasts for a while, and people like it now. We're in a day and ages now where why would you have a weave that looks like a weave if you're going to spend your money and get one done? You can get any closure or frontal or 5 or 6 bundles in that'll look a weave, but there are so many professional women, and you know, as women at the workplace, you know, a lot of women are very judgmental, and your hair is the first thing that anybody looks at. Especially me. I can tell if it's a weave on TV or clip in, and the first thing I do when I meet someone is I see your hair, and it's just natural. So I just like it to look natural. And my mom, again, thanks to her, she never wanted her weaves to look like a weave. So, you know, I was able to just take everything that I've got collectively. I actually came up with a plan on how I wanted to do this before I came home because if you look on my page, my 10-year, you know how they do the 10 years from now and then? I actually put a picture of me 10 years ago when I was in federal prison. So,
Wow.
yeah, I actually did 5 years in the federal prison. I did wrote all for bank fraud and other white collar crimes, and I planned all this out while I was there my whole career, and it's all kind of just took an action from where I wrote down and realized verbatim in my head. So I had it in my head that I was going to come home and make this work for us and make a living off of this type of installation.
Wow. I mean, bravo to you, for not only, you know, getting out of that situation and doing something positive, but also having a plan and working a plan and making the plan work. Because a lot of times, you know, we have something in our mind that we want to do, but we're scared to put it into action. And for you to take the time that you had, because when you're in a situation like that, you have nothing but time, and actually write down what you wanted to do and see it come to pass, that is awesome. And that is a true testament that if you write a plan down,
Right.
work the plan, the action will come from the plan.
Exactly.
So, wow, Moses,
And if you're afraid, just go ahead and do it
Do it
afraid.
anyway. Do it anyway.
Do it
That's
beats a
afraid.
right.
failure. Nothing
Yes.
beats a failure but a try.
Right.
And that is 100% true. So, wow, that's great. And those, what do you call them again?
Microlinks. They're little
Micro
beads.
links.
Use these silicone lined beads, and you place them at the scalp. They come in many different sizes, depending on hair texture. You always want to make sure if you ever get any that they are silicone lined, because 9 out of 10 there's a lot of them that is selling them and they are not silicone lined, and you're just crushing metal into the hair, which will break the cuticle on contact.
Oh my goodness.
So how long? I have a couple of questions in regards to your specialty.
Okay.
One, how long do the micro links last? Two, I know not necessarily your price, but what's a price range that people can expect with something like this? And then three, do you take appointments?
I do take appointments.
Okay.
I actually travel around. I have 4 cities that I'm doing a tour over the next 3 months.
Okay.
So LA, DC, Chicago, Atlanta. I do a tour of those. Now, generally, with you gotta look at it now. Social media allows things to be watered down.
Yes.
So you have a lot of people that will undercut the undercutter just to get this type of service. Generally, a service from me, starting at this, what I would charge is around $500 to $1,000 for the installation.
Okay.
And then it also comes to the pre-treatment. Like you either need some type, if your hair is like your hair, you have a nice, fine, soft texture. You don't need you don't need a keratin treatment. You don't need a relaxer. You don't need anything to help it aid in the humidity resistant while it's in this installation. So that usually costs a little money. And then your hair. You want to have a hair that matches your curl pattern. So regardless if your hair is not done, it'll still be cohesive.
Nice.
That's the main factor that you want. A lot of people, if your hair is naturally wavy and you're natural, it just doesn't make sense to put straight hair in there. You will be burning your hair out, pressing it out every day. So I make sure everybody's here. I work with a lot of vendors, and that's the real tricky part that you want to make sure is that your hair matches, because, I tell people, I have one lady, she gets her hair done for me 3 times out of the year. She buys new hair once. So that really cuts her budget, but she has to be able to use that hair over and over again. And I want her to be able to rock her own curl pattern, as well as have it pressed out when it's time to go and do something. So you just want to make sure your hair matches in with that. Okay. And what was the other question?
And how long does the microlinks usually last? Like, so installation, how long can I keep it in?
So depending on the package that I have some people, so it definitely depends upon a consultation. I have several packages where I'll recommend after seeing your hair type. I usually do a FaceTime or Skype consultation. And so one of my generals lasts 3 to 4 months. You'll get a maintenance with me within 45 to 60 days after the initial appointment. I'll go and retighten the tracks, but mostly when they can't get to me, I tell them just go ahead and go to Dominicans and get a doobie. If you need to get your hair washed and rolled up. But I always recommend you to wash your hair at home, put the conditioner on it, and go to the Dominican shop with the cap on, and just let them roll it down.
Okay.
What? Yeah. And how long does it take to install, Moses? As I'm sitting here contemplating my next 3 income taxes so I can get an appointment.
It takes generally, I can install it in 2 hours.
Oh.
What?
Go ahead. And, I have another package that lasts up to 6 months. So most of the girls, I have some people that fly in from Japan, and I have people that fly into me. So a lady comes to me from California, she gets it twice a year, so she gets the service that lasts about 6 months, and she understands the maintenance of it. You can't get in a style like this and think that you don't have to tie it up, or, it's not a regular weave. It's a total different concept. It's a total different type of situation. I think people get used to, you have to moisturize your whole, when you have microlinks, your hair is a full blend. So your hair is not tied up. you also have to continue that you have to moisturize your hair while it's in this weave too. Your hair is blended all the way in. When you have a regular weave, you never moisturize your whole weave.
Never.
So, it's a total different concept, and it does take a little bit of work, but the results are really good, and it takes maintenance, just like with any hairstyle.
Nice.
It's not as complicated as people think, but there are just some basic things that, I usually tell you to do. And it really works out really good for most people. And they don't want to go back to getting braids in their hair after they got this service, most of the people that I know.
Well, I'm excited. I'm telling you right now, I'm on Indeed looking for a part-time job so I can get one.
And we can match the texture too. I have a client, she has Afro kinky hair, right? We get kinky curly hair in. It does not matter the texture. You can still add some hair in with this. So it wouldn't take you out of your natural state if you're comfortable with wearing it natural. You just want to add some more extra hair to your afro, you'll be able to do that as well.
Oh, because that was going to be my last and final question. I was going to ask you, so you did speak about maybe if somebody wanted to add length, they can do clips, it's a lot of different things. If somebody wanted to just add into what they had, they could just do micro links. They don't have to do a full head. Like, is this a full, so like, like they say full weaves or half weaves or half, I don't know the weave lingo, but is this something that all of my hair would be done, or can I just do the back, or how?
Well, if you want to do, we can situate it however you want to. And 9 times out of 10, when I have women that have balding areas that they want to cover up or problematic areas, I usually recommend a full head. I just leave the perimeter out. Everything else on the inside is all taken up. So you don't have to do your hair. It lays ultra flat. And it's very easy to take care of. All you do is wrap it at nighttime.
Wow.
So it's very easy.
So even a woman with alopecia can get this?
I have, depending on where the spot is, I've covered up a lot. I've covered up crowns that were fully bald with this.
Oh, wow.
And that just comes from me. That comes from me when I first started traveling. I was a traveling stylist for like 6 years. And back then I was just learning the business. So I would take these deposits. And then when I get there, I have to just go with the best because it looks different or something's changed from the consultation.
Right.
Okay.
I don't got the money to give it back to you. So I'm going to cover this spot up.
And now you're like an old pro at covering the spot up. Okay.
Spots up. I can do bridge. I can do so much connection now. Even if I had a person and she had hardly any hair, and I was able to take her from maybe 2.5 to 3 relaxed inches to a comfortable 18 inches, and still be able to put it up in a ponytail and everything that you see a lot of them do, except the party. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I've been able to cover a lot of problematic areas for a lot of people.
Well, this is good to know because we know a lot of people that have problems dealing with hair, whether it be alopecia or, like we said, thinning hair due to family hereditary things. So this is very interesting and all good information to be able to put out to not only the people that listen to the show, but specifically to the people that we know that are dealing with these things. And so, wow, Moses, thank you so much. You have given us a wealth of knowledge when it comes to summer hair. And if you could see our faces right now, because let me tell you something, from the Jamaican castor oil to the flat irons to the the edge control, all of it, it is eye-opening to say the least.
And I'm gonna tell you, I just want to say 2 things. One, that Jamaican black castor oil, I will say that I was on that bandwagon and I was using it, and I noticed when I did my protective styles that I couldn't leave them in because my head was so oily, like the oil was clumping on top of my scalp.
Piling it on top of it.
Yes, and because I could leave them in, I could leave them in for like 6 weeks, but I couldn't get past like 3-4 weeks. I just couldn't take it anymore.
So notice the moisturizing oils, even when you put them in, they dissipate. You know what I mean?
I don't know because I got the avocado, coconut, olive. That's what I'm gonna be using. I mean,
And
I can't even believe
go to
it.
Sally's and get a tinting bottle, even if you want to, because it has a nozzle on it, and you can direct it where to put in your hair, so you can go in those
Okay.
areas of your protective style without, a lot of moving the style.
Yeah, and then also, like the things you're saying, they just sound so amazing, like almost like too good to be true. But I'm telling you, when you look at your Instagram, you just be like, oh my goodness, it really is true. Like, wow. I mean, because I was just sitting there like, what? I'm telling you, Moses, I'm gonna get one.
Okay,
I'm
I
gonna
got
get
you when you're ready.
no, yeah. I gotta get a part-time job clearly because I'm just a regular person. But this will take a while to put this in my budget, but I'm definitely going to get one.
Now, how
So
long are you going to go?
I'm gonna go as long as like length, you mean?
Yeah,
Let
what's
me
the
tell you
longest
something.
your list has
When
been?
I do things, I do it big. So if I'm
Uh
gonna do it, I'm going to do it. Whatever you got, that's what I want. Because
Okay.
I want to be like Diana Ross out this mud. You know what I mean? Diana Ross taking Nioxin.
Yes.
Not nioxin, no.
Moses, so tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, so you can find me, of course, on Instagram and Facebook as Moses L. Overton, and you'll find the link for my bio, my itinerary, my classes that I'm coming up with, and I'm going to be also opening a new hairline and a wig line, and all that information will be available. Really, it is available now on my website and all my social media.
Well, thank you again, Moses. Like Moses said, you can catch him on Facebook and Instagram at Moses L. Overton. Be sure to check him out and tell him that We Did That Shit podcast sent you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here for this week. Again, Moses, thank you so much for your time
Thank
and
you.
for your information. We truly appreciate it. We hope that you enjoyed this. Ladies, let us know. Leave us a comment on our social media. Men, you too, because you out there buying stuff and microlinks and stuff like that for your women.
And bundles for your girls.
And
That's
for your
right.
girls. That's right. So y'all leave us a comment and let us know how you enjoyed this episode. Remember that an all new episode drops each and every Monday. Like Babi said in the beginning of the show, you can find us anywhere where you can listen to your free podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. Yes, and remember that you can follow us just like you can follow Moses on our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Follow me on my personal Twitter. It's MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at Babi Amina. That's BIBBIAMINA.
Remember to share the podcast anywhere where you share any of your information. Leave us comments and let us know how you liking the show. We'll be here same time next week.
Remember, hire me part-time so I can get the micro links. Do that shit. I love you, Maya.
Love you too.